In 1976, Kodak controlled 90% of all films sold in America and 85% of all cameras. They had 145,000 employees, $16 billion in revenue. A brand so embedded in daily life that people didn't say, "Take a photo." They said, "Take a Kodak." 36 years later, they filed for bankruptcy. And the most damaging decision they ever made wasn't made by a competitor, or a market, or a technology. It was made in a conference room in Rochester, New York, in 1975. They invented the technology that killed them. Here is their story. Kodak founder George Eastman didn't come from money. He came from poverty. Born in 1854 in upstate New York, he lost his father young, watched the family business fail, and dropped out of school at 14 to support his widowed mother and two sisters. His first job paid $3 a week. He taught himself accounting at night, worked his way up to a bank clerk, and then in 1878, a colleague suggested he take a camera on vacation. The camera was the size of a microwave oven. The chemicals to develop photos filled an entire case. Eastman didn't just find it inconvenient, he found it unacceptable. 3 years of experiments in his mother's kitchen later, he had invented a dry plate coating machine, founded the Eastman Dry Plate Company, and by 1888 had launched the first Kodak camera with a slogan that doubled as a business model. "You press the button, we do the rest." Eastman understood something most entrepreneurs miss. The camera wasn't the product. The film was. Every photo taken was a recurring revenue event. They sold you the camera once and film for the rest of your life. It was the razor and blades model before Gillette made it famous, and it worked. By 1900, Kodak launched the Brownie camera for $1, putting photography in the hands of children and building lifelong customers in the process. In the early 1900s, they negotiated to become the sole film supplier to Hollywood. Every movie filmed in America ran through Kodak. In 1935, they launched Kodachrome, the gold standard of color film, for 7 decades. National Geographic ran it. NASA used it. In 1963, the Instamatic camera sold 50 million units in 7 years. By 1976, Kodak controlled 90% of all films sold in America and 85% of all cameras. They had 145,000 employees worldwide, revenue approaching $16 billion. The phrase, Kodak moment, had entered the English language as genuine cultural shorthand for a memory worth preserving. People didn't think of Kodak as a corporation. They thought of it as a part of life. And that is exactly what made what came next so hard to see. In 1975, a 24-year-old Kodak engineer named Steve Sasson built the world's first digital camera inside Kodak's own lab. It weighed 8 pounds, captured images at 0.01 megapixels, and stored them on a cassette tape. He brought it to management. Their response: "This is a very scary look at what could be possible in the future." Not excitement, fear. Because they understood exactly what they were looking at. A camera with no film, no chemicals, no processing, no recurring revenue. Every profit center Kodak had built over 90 years gone. So they patented it, classified the project, and told Sasson not to speak of it publicly. The prototype went into a drawer for the next 26 years. Then came 1984. The Los Angeles Olympics needed an official film sponsor. Kodak, with 90% of the domestic market, looked at the price tag and passed. Fujifilm jumped at it. Within 30 months, Fuji's U.S. film sales jumped 30%. They built a U.S. factory, undercut Kodak's prices at Walmart, and never stopped. Meanwhile, a 15-year patent battle with Polaroid ended in 1991, with Kodak writing a $925 million check, the largest patent infringement settlement in U.S. history at the time, and being barred from the instant photography business entirely. Then in 2001, Kodak acquired Aphoto, a photo-sharing platform that would eventually serve 60 million users. Instead of building it into a social network, they used it to sell photo prints. In April 2012, they sold it for $23.8 million. That same month, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. Instagram had 13 employees. Kodak Gallery had 60 million users. In 2005, Kodak became the #1 digital camera brand in America. They were losing $60 on every unit sold. By 2011, their film business generated $34 million in profit. Their digital division lost $349 million. The math was terminal. They sued Apple, Google, and Microsoft for patent infringement. They pivoted to printer ink. They sold assets and cut tens of thousands of jobs. None of it was enough. On January 19, 2012, Eastman Kodak filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. 131 years old, once worth $28 billion. In bankruptcy, they sold their digital imaging patents, the ones Steve Sasson helped build, to a group including Apple, Google, Facebook, and Amazon for $525 million. The companies that built the digital world Kodak refused to enter, were buying its intellectual property for cents on the dollar. Meanwhile, Fujifilm, facing the exact same disruption, asked a different question. What else do we know how to do? Their chemistry expertise translated into pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and medical equipment. The same month Kodak filed for bankruptcy, Fujifilm posted record revenue of $21.4 billion. Same industry, same disruption, completely different outcome. The most common lesson people take from Kodak is that they missed digital. That's wrong. They invented it. So here's what actually happened. Lesson 1, protecting your business model is not the same as protecting your business. Every decision Kodak made was rational in the short term. Everyone contributed to the collapse. The question they should have been asking wasn't how do we protect film? It was how do we own photography in a world without film? Those are very different questions. They lead to very different companies. Lesson 2, dominance breeds the blindness that ends it. At 90% market share, Kodak stopped fearing competition. Monopoly is comfortable. That's exactly what makes it dangerous. Lesson 3, seeing the future and acting on it are two different skills. Kodak had the research, the patent, and 60 million users on a proto-Instagram. The information was there. What was missing was the willingness to make a decision that hurt today in order to survive tomorrow. George Eastman's original promise was you press the button, we do the rest. That promise still exists. We still capture moments. We still share them. Instagram fulfills it now. The category didn't die. Kodak did. And if there's one lesson to carry forward, it's that the companies most at risk of disruption aren't the ones that can't see the future. They're the ones that can and choose to look away. If this breakdown helped you understand not just what happened to Kodak, but why it happens to great companies in general, then this channel is built exactly for you. Every week we break down the stories behind the world's most successful and most cautionary businesses, the decisions that built empires, the mistakes that ended them, the strategies that still hold up, and the ones that collapsed the moment the market shifted. Whether you're building a business, managing a team, making investment decisions, or just trying to understand how the business world actually works, these stories exist to give you a better lens. So if this was worth your time, hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it helps more people find this channel. And if you want to keep learning, subscribe. Every breakdown we publish is designed to give you one thing, a clearer picture of why businesses succeed, why they fail, and what you can take from both. We'll see you in the next one.